So here we go, yet again, back on the 400 non-tip mule deer quest here in the Hunter Classic, and yes, that is the map of Logger's Point over my shoulder, and I do like Loggers because I think there's less total deer here, and I feel like that does mean we're more likely to see the majority of the mule deer on the map. So we're starting off up here in the north, pretty much going to try to hunt our way all the way south. If we can do it without fast traveling, that would be great. Depends on what happens as we go, but headed for the tower. Hopefully we can find some mule deer on our way there. Well, that might have been useful. 1090 to 1200. As the first thing of the day, I sat here in this tower. I'm just hitting the grunt call. No bucks in sight. But we might actually have a giant feral hog, in which case we might just stop using the grunt call and make sure we get him into bow range here. That is a really good looking pig. Max weight estimate too, and part of their score is weight. I mean, 1090 minimum, he's easy 1100. We'll see how high he goes. I mean, that really, oh wow. Catching that as it calls and really getting to see the tusks. That's super cool. I'm trying to, did they add feral hog skulls? I can't remember. I think they might have, therefore I don't actually want to brain shot him. So if he'll turn or something, he knows we're here. The wind's bad or something. Look how he's acting. Yep. Okay, so I don't have slugs loaded. I really should. I saw it the first time and I thought about it. Man, I hate tracking feral hogs. Oh, but that one's gonna be worth it. All right, slugs go. We're good to go. Next time. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, it is rare that you'll get winded in a tree stand or a tower or anything. It's only big, high-scoring animals. They can score north of 1200, so he's not gonna be like, let's say, number 1 on the leaderboard. But I gotta think he's up there. By the way, if you're wondering how I'm going to go about tracking this, it at least starts like this. Just the amount of times I've tracked wild-born feral hog, where anything but crawling spooks them, I'm hoping we just do this until he calls. So that's our hog. He's out there feeding at 146. I really wish I just brought a high-powered rifle, but it's been long enough. He may be calmed down. I see he's kind of on the move there. If we can just get him coming in, like, with the slugs, I'd really like him inside of 50. They're effective beyond that, but he did turn. Maybe he's coming in? Point being, though, I don't want to have a glancing blow where we gotta track him again. I want a good, solid hit. I mean, he is decently broadside at 53. I think we might just go for that. I don't think that log there is gonna be an issue, but yeah, maybe we just let him get past that. That should be solid enough. For the sake of it, I'm gonna hit him one more time. There's no way that doesn't bring him down. He's gonna go down right out there. All things considered, not too bad. We should have had him from the tower. But really, the track was 15 minutes, and he's down. Lung blood as well, so we didn't need the second shot, but as I said, like, there was no way we were tracking him down again. So, I don't even know what our PB hog is, somewhere in the 1170 range, I believe. I'd say this guy has a chance to top that. Look at that tusk. That's a pretty good one. So, he is 197 kilo, not bad. Gonna come in at... calculating score 1166. It's very close then to our best. Is there are skull mounts. That's why I didn't want to shoot him in the head. Let's do that. Make sure I click the right thing. And we'll get a nice little trophy shot. That's a really solid animal. And it's our first kill of the hunt. Now, trophy shotting these is always just about impossible. I'm never super thrilled with how they turn out, but I think that'll be good enough. And if you didn't know any better, you might think I shot her from that blind back there, but not too bad. An 1166 feral hog, a new skull mount for the lodge, and our first feral hog skull mount in general. We still have yet to even see a track from a mule deer buck, but this hunt is already really, really solid. That's a pretty decent mule deer track. I just heard something. He actually grunted, but then never came in. 105 to 130 is encouraging enough. What are the odds that's somehow him? That is a mule deer doe, so might not be a bad idea to try to just drop her. It's probably 30-ish. 24. That'll work. I'd like to know what direction you went in. He sure didn't seem to come into the call at all. But at least something, although really not at all we're hunting that we don't have to track. Because it appears to me we're going to be right back to doing the exact same thing, trying to find where that mule deer buck went off to. And unless he did spook, it's probably going to be really slow going again. And I mean, pretty decent mule deer buck, 175 to 205. And the whole thing about fast traveling and stuff, we're an hour in right now. And we have 2 kills, 2,200 meters covered. We're going to go right back to the 12 gauge slugs here. Going to go ahead and get him down. That will take care of that. There was a doe coming in behind him, I think. Looked like a doe. And actually, all we're going to do is fast travel right back to where we saw that feral hog. It's not that far away, but at some stage, we got to get this thing moving. So we're not going to skip any ground necessarily, but at least kind of try to get on our way. I had this track earlier, too. There's another max estimate feral hog here. Odds are it's probably like an 800 something, but I don't know if that one calls. Maybe we bring it in. So heart and right lung, 48 meters, 196, and also 136 kilo. That is a really heavy mule deer buck. 140 is max. So let's bounce down to here. Hoping maybe that feral hog would call. No such luck. And we're headed south. Now here's the deal. I know Loggers Point well enough by now that when you get a good weight mule deer buck track, you probably better go follow it. There's, as I said at the beginning, not a lot of mule deer out here, so to ignore a 105 to 130, I think would be pretty insane. I actually had another buck track here too, so maybe it's a group, maybe that's a fluke, and what do you know, we're headed north again. So I think we found him. That guy's 115 to 130. It is a group, by the way. We got that buck, that's 95 to 120. I just put scent out, but it's kind of over to the right. And I just don't know, are we going to be able to see them all? There's another heavy buck, so I don't want to just shoot this one yet. Thing is, we might have to. Oh boy, that's going to be a problem. Because that doe's going to walk right to us. And I still haven't seen most of the other deer. Where even... It's just those two? I say we get the big one. We figure out which track is left. And I guess try to solve this mystery from there. So that'll drop him. Inevitably, everything else is out of here. And I'm curious which buck this is going to be. So we had the... whatever it was, 105 to 130 track. Could very well be this one. We also did have in here a max estimate buck, 115 to 140. I'm sure they were traveling together. He's 123, so it could be either one. 153 on the score. But I kind of think regardless of which one, and it is the 105 to 130, he was the max estimate one. I'd like to at least get eyes on it. Now hang on a minute. So those bucks had nothing to do with that group, I think? Alright, well, I don't know where they are, but try to figure it out. A lot of tracking today. That's probably bad. Is she actually looking at us? She must be, right? Not anymore. There's a bobcat calling down there. Actually, I see it. Let's just quickly spot that. Doesn't look terrible. Only up to 20 kilos, so let's stay on task here for once. And I figure because this is Loggers Point, and as I said, probably deer opportunities are going to be less than normal, although we're finding plenty. I wanted to show some of the stuff that I typically wouldn't, like shooting that doe that's in the way. Normally that wouldn't make the cut, but just to give you an idea of what kind of happens, tracking these things and a lot of times just crawling along, that's a part of it. Okay, I think this time we actually found the proper deer, or at least I hope so. The tracks are fresh enough that if they doubled back, that would make sense. Now, we gotta hope we get eyes on all of them. That's a pretty good one there, 180 to 210. I already hear footsteps, though. So they're getting here pretty quick. And there ought to be at least one more pretty decent buck. Got another one coming up over the hill there. I gotta think there's another one like the size one we killed with the bow. There's one. That is pretty average. So we're missing one. And I'd say it's about time to go for the shot. Where is our better buck. Got that in there. There's one we never quite got to see. That's probably okay. However, if that max track is still... Oh, no, that's this one. Because I still have the tracks lit up. I think I'm going to be happy enough with that. And maybe at 199.9, he is our best now of the hunt. Maybe we can see if we find another track again. Maybe we spotted it by accident. I don't think we did. Yeah, there... Wait. He was there, though? We almost had to have at least sort of glossed over it. And maybe he just wasn't that big. In that case, I think that's fine. We'll keep on going. And they did run the direction we're going in, so maybe we'll see him again. Well, we got another group of bucks, or at least 3 of them, so I'd imagine a full group of 5. 2 fairly decent ones. This guy's up to 180. That guy's up to 170. I really would like to see whatever 2 are behind them. And you will, it seems like very rarely, but you will get just 3 together. So that's a possibility, but we'll probably hold out to the last second again. Oh, there's a 4th one. Not very impressive. Can we at least see the 5th one? Gonna grab the shotgun because we may end up needing it. I'm gonna say we're going to. I think even if we go to full draw now, we won't. Didn't even get to see it as they took off. I thought I heard one go that way. Eh, maybe not. So, I guess we're checking tracks once again. Hopefully not actually tracking things. But, getting way more mileage out of the 12 gauge Maisto than I thought. 169 score for that guy. Nice. And let's see if there's at least a heavy track. So, first whitetail buck of the day. 130 to 155. By the way, I couldn't find a track from those mule deer, so I don't really know what was up with that. That's 40. And, considering how much tracking we've done today, probably a good thing he's going to keep moving. Looks like he might... That's 30. As long as he makes it up over that hill, actually stop at 30, that is pretty doable. Onto us pretty quick. So, I wore the army camo today, and I kind of consider it my lucky camo, and it struck again first thing. We've had so many cool kills, specifically when we end up wearing this. One thing it does offer is camo for deer species. The yellow there is effective on deer. Bright green means you're in, like, let's say, the environment for the camo pattern. Despite that, he pretty much saw us right away. 98.8 kilo, another super heavy deer, 150.9 on the score. And slowly but surely, we're making our way down to the South Lodge. I don't know how that buck got over there. Oh, I think I know how, because it's not the buck that we're trying to call in. I don't see any sign of another one, so let's see. Can we drop that? That'll work. There was one that grunted kind of like out beyond that tent. And it is at the point of the day, like it is noon. Could very well be the case that he just fell asleep. So what I'm going to do is A, just crawl over here, grab a track, make sure I didn't identify some other call. Nope, that's him. He's coming in just very, very slowly in that case. Let's just sneak down here. I'm going to get on that rock, I think. Should have time for it. This guy is a very much unimpressive 11-meter lung, liver, intestine, 59 score. Hopefully the one coming in's a little better. So I hear him, and we are in a really bad spot, so can we just pop up here? Oh, that's a doe. Okay, that's out of the way, but is our buck even still coming in? Actually, he is somehow. Not a really big buck, but decent. Gonna stop in the worst spot, so let's just kind of crawl over to the side here. I think we can just wedge this shot between those 2 trees. That'll work. And as so many loggers points hunts tend to do, as we've kind of gotten later and later into the hunt, we've shot some deer, shot some animals in general. Things, as I talked about there, will like bed down and go to sleep. You really start to encounter very few animals. It feels like the amount of deer you see, bucks especially, gets super sparse. But luckily early on this time we killed a couple of 190s and that giant feral hog. And I'm really excited. I have not even seen a feral hog skull mount yet. However, a quick little hop, skip, and jump up here, and we will go to see one. And looking like textures loaded. We don't have any bright pink rare foxes or anything. So up here on the second floor, just like last week where we added a big wolf skull to these little pedestals, I actually flipped some things around. That is neat. So we got our wild boar on this side, that one we did shoot in the head. There's our feral hog. Look at the size of those tusks. 1166. Feral hog. Skull mount. Man, when they added the wild boar ones, I was really excited for one day seeing the feral hogs. I don't know when they came out, a couple of months ago maybe? Finally we get one worthy of the lodge. And just like kind of stepping back here, seeing them both. This one was 1059. I think we have a bigger one in the lodge somewhere too. 1059 and 1166 though. Those tusks are ridiculous. I'm so glad they added those. And it's been so cool, like, whether it is this lodge in general, all the skull mounts, the things they've added for the trophy lodges in general is really just made, in my opinion anyway, some of the trophy hunting we do out here that much more enjoyable as we get to enjoy those things here in the trophy lodge and kind of memorialize them forever. But on that note, that is going to do it for this video. So Logger's Point ends up producing, but it literally is the first kill and a couple of nice bucks after the fact that end up being the very best one. So we'll see what we do next time, but nice to take a break from Timber Gold and make a major trophy lodge edition. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.